All right, guys. कुछ तो पंगा दिखते तो. All right, guys. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to all of you. Welcome to my channel, and I hope you guys are doing absolutely well. This is the day 20 or 10, 28 of recording daily videos for next scheduled 75 days. And today we will talk about our culture, right? And how shall be our way forward to protect it in modernizing country, right? Because everything in contemporary time is modernizing. So how do we safeguard and protect our culture, right? So without any further ado, let's start our today's video. So today we will talk about India's, how shall we protect India's cultural heritage in rapidly modernizing society. See, India's cultural heritage is vast, right? It starts from right Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Arunachal to Gujarat, right? And it is deeply rooted in tradition, languages, and art, architecture, and also philosophies, multiple philosophies, right? Yet, modernization and globalization bring both opportunities as well as challenges. Protecting this cultural rights and our heritage requires a balanced approach that embraces progress as well as safeguarding identity, right? It must, our way forward must embrace the progress while balancing the identity, right? So what are the few key challenges that comes, what are the threat to our cultural heritage in rapidly modernizing society? First is urbanization and infrastructure growth. Rapid city expansion, as we can see nowadays, right? Even a piece of land, one cutout, costs you more than 15 lakh. And all this is because of rapid urbanization. People are moving from rural to urban. They are buying land and they are building house. So when it happens, the urban area gets more developed and there is more traffic in the colony because of the new houses and buildings, right? Which often threatens the historical sites, right, and traditional neighborhood. So that's there. When there's a lot of houses, buildings all over the heritage place, it in a way threatens it, right? It threatens its authenticity, right? So that's there. Second challenge is globalization and cultural hegemony. Western customer, right? Western, people, Western consumer, they risk the culture, right? Overshadowing indigenous, indigenous, our own inherited practices, crafts, and languages, right? When they go to abroad, right? People often tend to adopt the culture of the overseas, right? So again, they ignore and all the practices, crafts, and tradition goes, slowly fade away, right? So that's there. And third is digital distraction. Young generation, Gen Zs, may drift away from the traditional culture, right? Art, literature, and rituals that we used to follow because of the digital distraction, right? A lot of scrolling happens these days, right? Which makes the Gen Z life very easy, quick, right? And they need not do much hard work in order to see the things, right? Which it is very available in their mobile, right? Once they log in, they they can see everything, right? And this very distraction, digital distraction, in a way vanishes their zeal and enthusiasm towards the culture, practices, art, literature, right? Philosophies, right? Because when everything is available in your mobile, right, we often tend to forget and jeopardize our tradition, which is priceless, right? So that's their huge digital distraction might also threaten our culture, right? That's there. And last challenges is environmental degradation, pollution and climate change, right? Threaten mountains, right? Temples and national heritage site, and for that matter cultural sites, right? Famous prominent culture sites. Due to the environmental issues, it doesn't see place to place, right? When it happens for all. And if it is if it is to happen, then every cultural site will also get vandalized by the environmental degradation. That's there. Now, what are the strategies for the protection of our cultural heritage site? First is education and awareness. Integrate heritage studies into school curriculum, and also in college use courses, right? Then next is promote regional languages, absolutely, and also the oral tradition. That's there. And next is encourage more youth changes to participate in cultural festivals and craft workshop, or to read art literature, and also to have a look and you know just see and understand what all what is Indian philosophy all about, right? So that's there. And second point, or the strategy for the protection, is technical use, right? Technology as a guardian, right? There is a lot of, nowadays it's very easy to get ebook, right? PDF, right, where you all can read old manuscripts, right? Temple records, and also many music, right? For that matter, 90s 80s music we do get in our internet, right? So we must use technology for the better good of our nation, right? So that's there, right? And next is use of VR, virtual reality, to recreate the endangered monuments for immersive learning, right? So that's there. And again, a very important thing when it comes to technology is to use AI in correct way for monitoring, conservation of our heritage site. So that's there. And third point for protecting the cultural heritage site is community involvement. The local the community in and around that place, or for that matter any person, right, can make one community. And it can by making community, what happens is people can empower local artisans, right, through cooperatives and fair trade platforms, right? And next is encourage village level preservation of ritual crafts, handicrafts, festivals, dance, music, culture, tradition. So we must encourage village level participation, right? So that they participate a lot in their culture and tradition, so that it do not get fade away by the with the time. So that's there. And third is promote tourism that benefits community, as well as it keeps that charm of the cultural heritage site. So we must promote a lot of tourism in such cultural sites, right? If there's any place within your reach, and you can just frame it and you can post it on Facebook, YouTube, right? So with that, it the place gets more explored, right? And people explore it through mobile phone. And yeah, and with all this, the people would suggest each other, and that's how a place gets famous, right? So that's there. When there is community involvement, then things become quite easy, right? Now, fourth strategy for protection of the cultural heritage site is policy and legal framework. Government must strengthen laws against the illegal trafficking, or any sort of illegal selling of the crafts, or for that matter artifacts. A lot of things are going unethical and illegal when it in terms of artifacts, right? So that's there. And second, next point for policy and legal framework is provide tax incentives for restoration of projects of the cultural heritage site, right? So that's there. And third, or the next point of the policy and legal framework, is enforce stricter urban planning to project heritage zone. That's wonderful, right? So the area, right, which governs that place, for that matter, a panchayat, urban, a municipality, and so the area must empower strict rules when it comes to house planning, right? So in order to protect our heritage site, we must do it, right? The city, uh, the Chandigarh, right? It is a planned city, right? So just like that, we can do this for other states as well. At least the in the area within the perimeter of the cultural heritage site. So that's there. And last point for protecting the cultural heritage site of our India is fusion of tradition and modernity. We can encourage contemporary artists, right, singers, dancers, to reinterpret classical forms in their own style, right? Yet they must, showcase the genuine, real classic forms, yet in a modern way, right? Although I have seen a lot of remix of musics in songs were from 90s, and yeah, it is good, right? The meaning and the melody of that song remains stagnant, right? Yet they have given it a modern touch, right? So we can do that, right? And second point is promote sustainable fashion inspired by handloom and handicrafts. Perfect, right? So we can also promote some sort of new fashion, but yet with the handicrafts and all, right? We can make it a trend, so that's there. And last point for safeguarding our cultural heritage site is blend traditional architecture with modern eco-friendly designs. So that's the guys. Now, why this cultural site and culture matters? First is identity and continuity. Heritage anchors India's identity amidst global change, right? Then, second is soft power. Cultural richness enhances India's global influence. That's there. And third is economic value. Heritage tourism, right? Heritage tourism and crafts sustain livelihoods for many locals, and it helps them to improve their lifestyle, right? To improve their life. So again, that's a very good point where the tourism helps build the livelihood of the locals, right? And last point is spiritual and philosophical depth. Tradition often offers a timeless wisdom for modern challenges, right? As we can see in our great scripts, right, epics and all, right? And we must protect that, right? So that's there. So in short and in summation, protecting India's cultural heritage isn't just about resisting modernization, but it's about harmonizing tradition with progress, right? And the real strength lies in making heritage living, adaptive, and relevant for the future generation. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm quite in hurry, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have been till the end, thank you so much. And may God bless all of you and all your efforts. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.